Good evening, everybody. Welcome back as ever to Building Blocks, where we program Minecraft mods live on camera. And once again, it seems Stream Deck is not cooperating with me, so I'm doing this manually. Oh boy. But anyways, so last time we constructed the model and got a basic texture going for the witch's new outfit, which is one of 4, I want to say at this point, which is so many different models and textures for a single mob. And since then I have mostly just been working on like the pet code, which was revealed in the most recent Various Oddities Showcase, which is the first one since July, I think, so probably a bit overdue for that one. But nonetheless, let me show you all what exactly I have been up to. So if we hop into our test world, we can have a quick look at how everything is going. I've had a very busy week that has been mostly involved working around loud construction noises. Okay. So, we remember our old friend, the Mage Hand. Well, the Mage Hand now has some actual, controls to it. We can tell it what to do with items, we can tell it whether or not it should keep a hold of whatever it's holding, we can tell it whether it wants to activate marked blocks or not. It's wonderful. We also have a floating disc, which can hold a ton of items. I'm probably going to add a layer to this so it can actually display the items it's carrying. Oh yeah, you can also ride it. Now, this is an open top disc, so literally anybody can access the inventory of it and anybody can ride it. Obviously it's not going to go anywhere whilst I'm sitting on it because it follows its owner in a pattern, in a style of motion that's very similar to a shulker bullet, really. It's pretty entertaining to watch. It avoids going beyond a certain range of its owner or else it will just despawn entirely. So if I just fly really high up, then yeah, it goes away. The Mage Hand does not currently have that limitation, but who knows, it might. We also have the Mount spell, which summons a temporary steed of high quality, which blup. So this is our very first pet mob that is not in fact just an entity. The Force Shield, the Mage Hand, and the Floating Disc are all entities, whereas the Mount is actually extended from a horse. So this thing is basically identical in that regard to a horse, and it comes with a saddle, it comes pre-tamed, it does not wander around like other mobs. It does not have an inventory, you can't give it armor or take away its saddle or anything, but if I go to Game Mode 0, we can see that it is maxed out on its stats, so it can jump really high, it can move really fast, and then it will despawn eventually. But you know, it's a nice, convenient, low-level spell for getting yourself a good piece of transport. I also managed to fix a bug that I identified with duration output on the tooltips, so that now they actually say how long they should go for. So in this case, 40 hours. In the case of the Floating Disc, 20 hours. And in the case of Mage Hand, which, because we have now got the spells, actually, the pets actually quantified properly, is now available as its own spell, not just as an item in your inventory, or a bauble, whatever. That one at max rank is 1 hour 40 minutes. So yeah, we got that fixed up. So we currently have access to 4 different pets, one of which is an actual mob. I am hoping to expand that fairly swiftly, so that we have access to mobs that we can actually make more use of this UI. So as currently mobs that we can, the pets we have, either have controls and an inventory slot, or just inventory and no controls, so it would be nice to actually make use of both windows. But there we go. But our job for today, oh yes, I finished up the texturing of the crown of the archfey as well, which looks pretty nifty. It's currently only available from creative inventory or from actually just seeing it on this particular disguise of the witch, but nonetheless, So yeah, you can also dye that if you want to change the MBT on it. So for instance, this one has red little berries on it, this one has blue. It's a little thing, but you know, it's nice nonetheless to have. So yeah, today we are chiefly working on this texture, and we have some notes on what this texture should look like. So let me bring you all back here. Okay. We have wooden elements, leafy elements, general greenery, pointed ears, which we've already incorporated as part of the model. Then we also have the pointed crown of dark oak, which we've also sorted out, so we can pretty much get rid of those elements right there. Changeling wings as a cloak or cape, so yep, those things there oscillating quite happily. And then we've got the gold highlights, jewelry and accessories, and the bustle, which is this thing down here. We tried modeling it as being an actual, like just sort of like straight up swoopy down, bell shaped, I guess, kind of dress, but it didn't look good enough. Really didn't quite work with what we were working with. It just, I guess there wasn't really high enough res, so we ended up swooping it back a little bit more, so it's more visually reminiscent of a, oh, what's the phrase here? We of a saloon girl from the Old West, but if it works, it works, I guess. We've even got like this torso piece in set, so it's more like it's being corseted. We do want to add glowing eyes, and we do want to add a trail of greenery, which we can probably do with particles. We previously did that by just actually trying to render blocks, but it wasn't quite as reliable as I might have preferred. But okay. So yeah, we are starting with some texturing. So here is my default texturing, which just helps me to identify what's where. And here's some very similar textures for the witch. So we've got their crone disguise, and we've got their actual, like, looking spiffy kind of disguise. Because the witch is unique amongst the various oddities mobs in that it has a variety of appearances, and it changes between them when you're not looking. As opposed to their counterparts, the Kirin, who just sort of looks heckin' sweet the whole time, honestly. And, oh yeah, it has that eye that keeps following you. Yeah. These are the archfey, for those of you who are new here. They are the most fully fleshed out NPCs I have ever created, and that's what they're meant to be. They're meant to be just, like, creatures you can drop in. But the witch is the sort of patron archfey of these guys, which are the changelings, and they are all manner of sneaky. For instance, about half of the creatures over here are actually changelings. You just can't tell because they're disguised. Yeah. Am I asking questions? Oh, am I answering questions? What's going on, Dusty? But okay. So let's start with the obvious part. We need a face. So let's... do we have many things over here? No, we don't. Okay. So let's just get rid of this. This is the headwear layer for the moment. Oh, Discord shenanigans. Gotcha. Let's also open up the changeling texture so that we can actually clone in the changeling wings. Let's see where I'll be. Where the people are. Here we are. Okay, so here's our texture pack for the changelings. So if we grab a hold of that, we can just dump that right in here as the wings. So our idea here is that the this particular elven, sylvan kind of disguise is very much like a regal royalty kind of look. Okay, and one of these I think is actually a headwear layer as well. Let me open up the model. See, there's the ears. There's the body, and yep, 1625. Which indeed is this one. Okay. I want this to be open-topped then.
Player has joined the game.
Is there any overhead wear layers here? I've forgotten. Those are usually identified by the 0.5s and whatnot, and they basically are just the same pixel scaling of like a smaller one, but increased. Like just sort of like rendered larger. There's the bustle. Okay, the bustle we need to get rid of the front section of. So let's see, that is 3052. Okay. It's these ones, I think. Bunch of new people today. Wow. Good to see. Hope you enjoy. It's a relatively relaxed stream tonight. Okay, refresh that texture and reload. Keep reaching for my stream deck like it works today. Not your actual mother. I mean, we've had your actual dad. How is Dad sleep, by the way? Okay. So that's a start. The ponytail, by the way, is already pre-rendered because that's a separate texture on a separate render layer, so that's there. And that does also move around and flop around. It's sort of like capes, essentially. The code for them is basically the same as capes. Okay, we also need to get rid of the bottom piece of those textures, which is just this chunk. And I think I want to keep that one. You know, preserve modesty, that kind of thing. Is there any other quick things I need to make sure that I'm not actually texturing in? I think we're good. I think that's it. Oh. Yes, this one does need a top. This sentence. Let's see, that's Bustle 2, which I'm guessing is the one on... Or is that Bustle's 1? Bustle 2 is 52. Yeah, okay. So this one just wants to have, like, a single pixel. Just gotta wait for this to reload. There you go. Okay. Looks fine. Probably make this one shorter than it currently is, but it's probably fine for the moment. Like a pixel or two, maybe. Yeah, we're trying to go for some very subtle insect vibes here. So this bustle at the back is a little bit reminiscent of a thorax, or if you're particularly intriguing, an egg sac. No comments on that, which reminds me, I need some inert creep. Just as some visual reference. There we go. Just to make sure that they look relatively in place. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, let's give them a face, because I'm probably going to need one of those. I keep reaching for my stream deck like it's working tonight. Why? I think this particular outfit is probably going to have the most in common with this one, so we'll use that as our base. This is gonna look weird, but so do most things when you're just starting to text them. It must be cold, their ears are blue. Where did ears end up? Down here. Maybe it's worth adding a layer, like, it's called a headwear layer because it originally only applied to the face, but it was then expanded to basically every chunk of the player. A headwear layer to, like, the legs, so we can have some shoes. But maybe I'll just have some shoes rendered. It's certainly going to be a look, that's for sure. Oh, and yeah, I need to swap this out. Although I guess I could make it like an off-the-shoulder slip or something, I don't know. Despite appearances, I'm not in fact in the field of fashion. They look like they're in an 8. Yeah, they do look a little bit Saved by the Bell at the moment, don't they? Oh, and I need to flip the ear. The mount is just sort of bleeding in my ear there, so I should. Something I think I skipped over is you can't heal them. You can't breed them in any fashion. So they're just a max stats horse, essentially, that you can't do anything with but ride. But, you know, a max stats horse is actually a little hard to come by, so it's kind of okay. Even if it's for 40 hours. But let's be honest, how many of us use a horse for longer than that? There we go, that's the ears better. I did contemplate whether we should have like a bouffant hairstyle, but that doesn't quite work with the ponytail. Like we'd have to swap out the ponytail for the bouffant, but what crimes will they commit? Mass genocide? Yeah, actually, isn't a genocide by definition mass? I feel like that's I feel like that's kind of redundant. Putting in some block colors for the moment, so we have an idea of what things look right. I'm semi-tempted to make them 2 pixel high eyes. You know, whenever you search like Minecraft girl skin, they always have like the 2 or even like 3 level highs. Would you like to explain which lore? Are you telling me there's somebody here watching my stream that doesn't know it? Really? Okay, so that's gotta be the corset part. So let's Get ourselves a nice kind of wooden texture. That looks good. I'll say texture. Color. Color is more accurate. The top and bottom don't really matter for this. For the moment, at the very least. And that's the beginning of the bustle. What kind of colors do we want the bustle to be? I guess when we define the colors of the bustle, we're mostly defining the colors of the entire outfit, really. So, There's like 4 of us that are new. Oh boy. Okay, well, the Kieran and the Witch are both drawn from the lore of my Minecraft YouTube Let's Play series. The Kieran is by Kieran Dave, for the most part, and the Witch is from a series beginning in Carpenter Station, most recently in The Haunting. They're very much rivals. They bounce off each other a lot. And the Witch is basically a horror movie fanatic. In their first series, they were rebuilding horror movie kind of sets. So they built the cabin in the woods from Evil Dead. They built the well from Ring. And then they were traumatized by a few decades inside of that well, locked inside by parties who shall remain nameless, and went completely off the deep end, and in order to survive being in that well, conducted what has become known as the Between Ritual, in which they drained the life force of 165,000 parallel universe duplicates of themselves. Which is to say that they killed 165,000 people in an evening. It's an infinite universe. It's an infinite multiverse, so technically they haven't even done 1% of the population, but it's a lot of people. And anybody that was not killed in that was nonetheless impacted by it. We're actually seeing the effects of that in Dungeon Maker right now. And they've sort of become like the face of evil, as it were. But they are very mischievous and very prone to trying to trick people into things that are on the face of it benign, but are nonetheless against their better judgment a lot of the time. They've got sharp teeth and they're pretty. Yeah, when they came out of the well, they did a lot of genetic splicing and witchy magic, so they're all kinds of messed up. I think the bulk of the outfit should probably be green. That makes a lot of sense to me. For general greenery and leaf elements, with wood especially, that feels like there should be, they should be green dominant. Green's not a color I generally tend to use a lot, though. But I guess if we're going for kind of sylvan, kind of greenery look, then that makes a lot of sense. She's sort of looking a bit more like a fairy princess right now, it has to be said. But okay, let's mix some green into this. That's kind of muted green, maybe, so it's not quite so dramatically in your face. A green that you could perhaps conceivably have in front of a green screen, have in front of a green screen and not lose half the creature. Yeah, we're just doing so. If you have never done a texture here. Is this tea? Yes, absolutely. What? Would I seriously be such a heathen as to drink coffee? Come on. Why do I look like an American? Okay, I think maybe a bit more vibrant green than that. But it's not a bad look. We're probably going to want to blend it with some darker tones and such. And some hints of blue to blend that in. But, Yeah, we're definitely going very rapidly down to the realm of, like, fairy princess, but that's kind of okay for this look, really. I wonder if it's worth just actually going in and grabbing the green hue and saturation values out of these textures. Can do, that's for sure, and it would make sense, I guess, wouldn't it? Seeing that they're very much related objects. Let's see, not that either. There we are. So this is Hive Creep. And it is a substance that enters the world at a quite significant volume once you start dealing with the witch. Well, more or less when you're done dealing with the witch, actually. But that seems too dark to me. It's actually very dark, but we'll see how that renders. That might. Well, let's find out. Straight up milk. Milk is what I would like. It's some nice warm milk before bed is like a decent choice, I'd say. Okay, so let's add that to the top layer. Meaning these. Let's brighten it up a little bit. Where's that? Just so, at least for the moment, we can identify which layer is which. Because if we had all these the same color, it would be more than a little bit of a hassle figuring out what goes where. Is there actually a visible portion of this? Not really, no. So we can't just get rid of that entirely if we wish. That's this layer, which we can see the bottom of. The undercarriage, as it were. Actually, by the same token, isn't this invisible? I think it is. Actually, then am I not? No, it's not. It's that layer. We do want to be able to see that, or else we'll have some tasteful underboob. That's probably not very tasteful, let's be honest, in a Minecraft game. It's like, I should stress that both the witch and the Kirin are essentially genderless. They are, let's see, the Kirin is gender fluid, the witch is, who knows. So, I don't want the, like, existence of this piece and this piece of corsetry to give you the impression that the witch is female. It's definitely not the reality. Gender is whack. I mean, what would two like ancient fey creatures know about gender? Let's be real. Gender witch. Okay, but what's in your pants? Dark magic. A lot of dark magic. Alex knows this because I gave them a presentation with the witch in it. Oh, okay. Why? I do feel like I need something on the shoulders. This feels too prom dress, I guess, right now. Like, what do we have for the shoulders? Okay, that's not quite what I was looking for. Let's say Renaissance for the moment. Okay, I see. Good. That's actually pretty good for me. I might end up having to add a couple more cubes, but like long sleeves is good for me. Parent, we got things for you. Okay, that's a bit less like a prom dress. I keep bumping into this. Can you kindly move away? Okay. Let's get a very pale color there. That, yep. Oh no, this looks like dirty linen. There we go. It's a bit better. And a fail version of this. They do be green? Oh yeah. I mean, this is essentially their woodland sprite kind of outfit, I guess. So, yeah. Oh, for that I should probably open up another one. Another piece of the creep. Let's see. Because, as you might have noticed, the creep does actually turn into wood as well. Dark wood, but wood. In fact, I wonder if I can just... see how big is that? That is 20 by 5. Okay. This is 16 by 16. If I just literally add the wood texture from this to that. Really, really cheap, but if it works. Okay, it's already starting to look better. Okay, so yeah, that line is perfectly in position there, I think. So let's add some detail to the arms. I am going to be changing the face around a little bit, I think. So let's see, this is the front side. Let me just bring up a reference. Let's see. Not quite. That's a bit Merida. That's a bit more like it. This is very much the kind of vibe that we would tend to go for. There's this recurring element that Fae, especially Fae courts, tend to emulate mortal kind of like affairs, so like balls, royalty courts, that kind of thing, but they're always like wrong, and the most common way that that's like displayed is that they're doing it reasonably correctly on the face of things, but like they don't understand why certain things are the way that they are. So they're doing them because they've seen the humans do them. And they're also very frequently heavily out of date. So you'll see you'll see Fey courts dressed like they're a few hundred years in the past, that kind of thing. Which then brought to mind the entertaining notion that if you were to see Fey now, then they would be at like a turn of the century 1900s kind of style. It's like, at what point do we start to see, like, we'll be in like cyberpunk territory, and the Fey will just be dressed like 90s kids. 80s witch? Not a style I've had in mind. Ooh, that's not bad. That's not historically accurate in the slightest. Okay, that's more what I'm looking for. Let's see, German Renaissance. There we go. Okay, that's very much what I'd like to see here. And that would probably work better if we did add another cube at the top here. So that's something to bear in mind. I am going to be using a lot of dodge and burn here, so purists, I apologize. But I don't necessarily have the time to go through the whole process and procedure here. I'm doing this live on camera after all. Okay, let's just see how that looks. Let's also lighten this up a little bit. And add a little bit of fruit down here. Another frequent feature of Fey fashion is it tends to sometimes it's utterly immaculate. Like it literally just got manufactured for the evening in which you see them. Other times it's like it's been there for centuries, and it's like kind of tattered in places, and it's kind of like falling to pieces and such. But they don't really necessarily understand that because they can just make new ones out of thin air, so they don't. Why? If they can do that, surely that's what the humans do as well, right? Okay, let's give that a look. See how that looks for our sleeves, and if it doesn't look quite right, we'll add a cube at the top. It does look better, but yeah, I think that would do better with an actual cube at the top. But that is definitely starting to look the part. That's good. Okay. So to add a cube, we're gonna have to actually go into here, and let's see, what is the sizing of this? This is a 4x3 by, well, actually it's the exact same thing as this. Where's the arm? We just need to start biped right arm. It's just like, what, 4 pixels tall? So if it's 4 pixels tall, it's basically that chunk right there. Where can we put this where it's not going to interfere with anything else? Oh boy. It can't go there. Can it fit down here? No, it can't because it'll run into that. Oh, Can I move the ear instead then? Let me just grab this so that I know what the other side of this looks like. Okay. I can probably move the ear. Or at least part of the ear. What keyboard does the program? Oh dear. Okay, mine isn't manufactured anymore, and it looks like it fell off the Battlestar Galactica, which is kind of part of its charm for me. Okay, so let's move the top part of the ear to 24 and 0. Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong part. That's the part. Yeah, like my keyboards, it was a Mad Catz one from way back when, before they got bought out. And I mostly keep it around because A, I like that it looks like it fell off the Battlestar Galactica. B, it has like 12 different macro keys that I can use, so a lot of people complain that it is quite noisy because it's mechanical, but it's fine. Okay, let's shift that to there, which is 24 and 6. That will give us the space to add that. Is that a ruffle? I don't know. Trying to say keyboard do not have problems in your hands. I mean, I'm probably not the best person to ask because I have RSI in this one. Okay, now we have the space to actually plonk that down. So that is 4039. So that's minus 2F, minus 2F, minus 2F. And we want that to be 3, 4, 3, and 0.5F. And that should create a ruffle at that point. Presuming that's the correct word. Heck if I know. I'm stylish, I'm not fashionable. Ergonomic keyboard can be the best? True, true. Like, in terms of ergonomics, the thing you most want for, like, using a computer is a wrist rest for your actual wrist, like by your mouse, a good mouse, and a chair that actually has armrests to put your forearms on. Those are the major things for preventing yourself from preventing your wrists from dropping off. But like, yeah, when you have like that one class in school that tells you, hey, do this, this, and this to avoid RSI, take it damn seriously. I think I mixed up the coordinates very slightly, but it does look excellently there. 343 is the correct one. Oh wait, no. It's 344 because it's not a 3x3, it's a 3x4 by... yeah. There we go. Actually looks pretty decent, honestly. Yeah, it's like the keyboard is relatively minor. Because the most wear that your hand's going to get is on your mouse hand. But yeah, if you actually just make sure you have armrests, that's the word, armrests, and have them at the correct altitude and such. It's like, more or less when your hands are at rest on your keyboard and your mouse, they should be pretty much like flat. If they're leaning down, that's bad. If they're leaning up, that's really bad. But if they're basically level, then. Also bear in mind exactly how much you're probably going to end up spending, how much of your day you'll be spending at the particular desk, because I've spent years at mine. There we go, that's looking better. This is, yeah, we are very much going hard on the fairy princess kind of look here. Oh, and the head. I just thought for a second, hang on, that head looks very large. I just realized it's because I did get rid of my cat. Beneath this face is the same face, but slightly smaller. Actually looking properly. You spend years at yours too, but you just game. I game, I edit, I stream. It's like so much. There we go. That's the proper sized face. Okay, yeah, I think that does look better with the actual additional cube. So we will keep that and put it on both. Good texture file management is really, really important in some projects. Like, this is what the changeling texture file looks like. Here we have the witch's like fancy disguise, and we have barely any extra space here. It's a miracle the ears fit in. The dual thing? I mean, I can't just do it on command. That's kind of the point of it. But sure, I will set the witch to actually rotate through their appearances, and we will try and catch the dual thing on camera in about 10 minutes when I come back from break. So grab yourselves a drink, grab a snack, go to the loo, all that sort of thing, take your meds, and I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a nice little break there. And just before we left off, we were mentioning that the witch has a sort of a party trick, I guess, in their human, quote-unquote, disguise, which all of these disguises read as being not quite necessarily what they are, because the witch is the patron archfey of shape changers and such. And in the case of this witch, it mostly does that. It gives you the big smile whenever it makes a noise. But every so often it does a bit more than that. So if we wait long enough and keep watching, we'll see exactly what I mean. This is one of the favorite features of the human disguise, as it's called. But yeah, just most of the time, it just does that wide grin kind of look, which is, different to that. So, yeah. 10 hours later. It's like a 1 in 30 chance, I think. So just, yeah. So I hope you all enjoyed that little view. I should explain the grin thing? The grin thing? What do you mean by the grin thing? I don't follow. Could you clarify what you mean by the grin thing, Dusty? I'm also just gonna wait for this to actually happen twice so I can think before I get moving. Oh, the physics-defying one. Right, in the lore, the witch is very steeped in, the magic, essentially, of Enderman, of the end, of the world, of, the, teleportation, physics-defying, space-bending, warping kind of magic. Teleportation is, their basic daily kind of thing. So their physiology, in addition to being very malleable, doesn't necessarily conform to physics as we understand them. So occasionally when they, grin, the teethy, visible smile part extends beyond the sides of their head. Have I ever heard of the Hecaton Kairos? Yes I have. It is one of the ancient titans. Or one of the ancient giant monsters. And it is also called the 100-armed giant. And I have definitely seen that in, I think it's the Epic Level Handbook for 3.5 D&D. A lot of Varus is based on Dungeons & Dragons, by the by, just in case you hadn't realized that just yet. Okay, I'm gonna swap this back and we'll get back to work texturing. But yeah, it's like the witch is all kinds of funky and mixed and messed up. And that is their human disguise, where their jaw just dislocates and spreads open like that. They also disguise as a fox occasionally, which is more significant in this version of Minecraft because foxes don't exist in it. It's like, oh, that's its fox. Wait, this is 112. Desi says she's a simp for lore. I mean, there's other things I've heard people described as for lore. I'm also not 100% up on what simp means, so... Don't mind me, I'm just old. Okay, so back to texturing this sort of forest nymph. Seriously, did I not? I must not have refreshed the textures. They've still got big head mode enabled. There we go. Big head mode has been disabled now. Let's actually add the bang there as well. Again, I'm probably gonna be tweaking the face a fair bit. Like we can see, just there. Okay, yeah, we can see here's the face for the crone disguise, which is essentially the witch fresh out the well. And here's the witch sort of like having regained power, so a significant chunk of it at least. So it's like, yeah, you can see there's definite similarities, but they are very distinct. Then there's and then occasionally they just look like a xenomorph queen, which is a whole other kettle of fish. That's a whole other story, really. Wait, where did your ear go? Yeah, we just got stick ears at the moment. Oh wait, and we've got a little bit of that going on. What's going on there? Did I heck up the coordinates? Is that what happened? Let's see, 24 and 5. Let's see, how tall are these? 3. Might think it's down there. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Okay, so we need to take that and subtract 3 from those coordinates. Because it's a 2-dimensional, but it includes the upper part. Let's see, if I got a 0, 2 by 3, so about that, okay. Which means that's actually where the actual height of that texture piece. So it wants to start at 3, 24, 3. You know, flats, cubes in Minecraft models are a little funky in that regard. Crush, but there's a level of desperation to it. Ah! So it's the streamer reads out donator name or subscriber or new subscriber name, and then next thing is donation. Please say my name again. That one? Is that a simp? Have I been educated now? Gotcha. Right. Okay. Thank you, the youth. Okay, well now we don't have like extra pieces of hair there, which is probably more befitting of a dwarf than anything else. Okay, overwrite. Refresh. Refresh textures, that should get it back. Can get worse, but yeah, they can move away. Things on the internet can always get worse, which is horrifying, but you learn that over time. There we are. Well, really there? Meow. Dusty! Please say my name again. Dusty21134. I think that looks like it might actually need to be lower. In which case that needs to be 4. That's not how you say the numbers. How would you like me to say the numbers, Dusty? It's your Tumblr URL? I mean, that doesn't help me. Your Tumblr URL does not come with a, like, phonetic spelling. How have I managed to get further off? I do have a debug mode that just, like, refreshes, like, generates a fresh model each time it tries to render, but that's, like, 20 times. Can't believe Lang doesn't read every single message in the chat. I mean, I read a lot of them, let's be fair. My chat is generally quite quiet. You were so distracted to finding simp that you drew on the wrong layer. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Oof. Right, have I fixed the ears? No. Yes, I have. Grand. Okay. I'm not even entirely clear on how I managed to break them, but yes, I fixed them. Okay. Let's add some detail to here, I think. And we'll start by having some, like, wooden appellation. Do I understand simp now? Yes. I get the picture at the very least. And then let's add some more wings at the top for, like, ruffling, as it were. In theory, we could, like, go to the back of this and just add straps or something, but I like the idea that it's just more or less entirely actually made out of wood. That seems like a very Sylvan kind of thing. Long is my fave Twitch streamer. You've known of my existence for like 20 minutes. But hey, honestly understandable. The rest of Twitch is in fact complete trash. Lying in mid one on drama alert. You plugged me at least 5 times. It took you 5 attempts to get them here? Wow. Except Strife? Eh. I'm friends with Strife, and I don't know. Okay, yeah, this is starting to look pretty nice. The temptation to draw a cleavage line is strong, but I will resist because this is Minecraft, and no. Yeah, we're looking... This is looking pretty sweet, I have to say. Honestly, also, I would rock this outfit. I've never had to wear a corset, but I would rock this outfit. First trap the witch. I don't want to do anything involving the word trap and somebody's appearance, really. It's like, that's a bad way to go. Okay, let's work on the bustle a little bit. Let's just see where that lands. Hey Shadow, how you doing? Welcome to the Witch Dresses for Ren Fair. Which is looking pretty good so far. He's wonderful and good at things and looks good and has cool hair. One of those things I will grant you. And it's funny, I repeat, one of those things I will grant you. Okay, I think those have landed in the right place for where they want to be. Yep, good. Right, let's add some detail. Which is another way of saying let's add some visual noise so it doesn't, so that a flat color looks more interesting. You say you don't simp me, Dusty, but you did like 9 minutes ago donate specifically saying please say my name again. So, you know, I gotta say there might be some evidence to the contrary here. In Dusty's defense, there was a /J after that. What's /J mean? Joke? Or sarcasm? Okay. Okay. I do think this is coming together quite nicely. The crown is definitely going well with this. That's 15. That's 5. Oh, 6. That feels wrong somehow, but... Ah, yes, it's joke. Okay, gotcha. Okay, good. Just getting some detail added there. Okay, let's see what we can do. Let's see, it would be... That section there is where the wings connect. I want to try and add something there that basically looks like an attachment for a cloak or a cape. And is ideally in the bluer tones of the actual thing. So let's just add those there, see how those line up. Because right now the wings just look like wings. We want to try and make sure that we want to try and imply that they are actually like they appear to be part of the outfit. Okay, that does look to be about the right positioning and also the correct side, so yay. We are going to bring it lower down. So let's just create ourselves a new layer so we don't hack this up. So now we don't lose any of that if we hack this up at all. Okay, so let's presume that's the kind of area that we're working with. I have already hacked up, it seems. GG me. GG. Have I just done it again as well? Yes, I have. For being locked, you'd think that would, like, not allow me to draw on it, but no, here we are. Okay. When are we getting lying into Minecraft Mondays? With Bebop Vox? Was that Bebop? I think that was Bebop. Okay, that looks good. Yep, okay, right. Who does Minecraft Mondays? I thought that was Bebop. Way back when. Means something different nowadays? Oh, does it? Let's get some gold. Let's see how that looks. So we've just sort of got attach points for the wings, which then hook onto some golden stuff, which should sort of give this the implication that it's attached by jewelry. Fundy. Captain Sparkles. Oh. Technoblade. Skeppy I've heard of, but probably not in the way that you expect me to. That gold probably wants to be actually on the skin parts of this. So like more there than anything else. How have I heard about Skeppy? I've heard about Skeppy via Finster. And Finster I've only heard about remotely because of Rose. So like that's the extent of it. That's the only way that I know about Finster. Which, look at me, of course, that's the way I know about Finster. Okay. We probably want to bring this gold in a notch, just to attach to that properly. You may wonder, but lying, you moved it down. How can it possibly be off target on a cube the same size because it's scaled up? That's why that happens. But okay, I think that'll fix up the wings quite happily. So let's see, what else we got here? We've got wooden elements. We can do some leaf elements by putting detailing onto the green sections. Changeling wings, yep, got. Bustle, got. Glowing eyes is done by a layer. Wooden elements, we've got the corset, which just looks like a chunk of wood. It is possible to make corsets from wood. I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's the most comfortable thing to do, but is a corset necessarily all that comfortable? Man, was it looking good? If you saw this wandering through the woods and the Kirin just started attacking it, who would you assume was the villain in this? Yeah, we can probably do like a leafy kind of texturing to this quite nicely. Reminds me of the enchanted wood stuff from Witch in the Woods. Yes, actually that's a pretty good comparison. The bark belt. Willow was sometimes used in place of bones in boning for corsets, yeah. When you couldn't find a whale. Okay, now I have a texture for leaves, so let's see if we can find it. I will have to color it, but yeah, so for those of you not entirely on the knowledge, I know of Skeppy via Finn's cross-dressing efforts. On a sliding scale of corsets, I feel like one of solid wood would be on the more painful end. More uncomfortable, I don't know. Painful? Who knows? Okay, yeah, I think this is good. We'll keep that as is for the moment. Let's just rename that while I'm here. To say jewelry. And especially for down here, let's see what we can do about leaves. So there's our leaf shape. Now let's plonk that there. And that's the halfway point. Let's go to there. We're essentially just going to clone this over top of this a few times, and then color it. And that should hopefully give us something approximating the look of a bundle of leaves. If your course is painful, there's something very wrong. I mean, if your course is painful, you're probably in fashion. To be honest. Like, that's the far more likely situation. Okay, let's add some green to this then. Corsets were undergarments? Not quite. The shift was the undergarment. Okay, that's looking good to me. Let's just brighten it up in places. A bit of noise, as it were. See how that comes together. So we're looking at this chunk down there at the top of the bustle. Okay. Not bad. Certainly looks better. Can't quite see it through the cloak and the wings, but looking good. Sorry, I'm not very. I'm not talking very much right now, am I? I'm just assembling a full portion there. This has vague similarities to a creeper currently, which I guess makes a fair degree of sense. On the grounds that the creeper is in fact meant to be like leafy. It's meant to like be kind of rustling. Which hisses at you ASMR? I mean, patrons get to like get to request audio from me, so just saying. Patreon.com/line. It's there. It's also damn cheap. I have noticed a problem with this texturing. Can anybody else spot the problem with this texturing? Or to use your audio thing? Didn't you use it for last month, Dusty? It's an every month thing. But yeah, can anybody spot the problem with this? There's a very significant problem here that I don't know if anyone has, like, spotted. But can you? Here's a hint. Not the dark spot in the middle. Nope. There's a face on the puzzle. The shoulder piece clipping? No, that's just an artifact of how Minecraft works, unfortunately. Okay, yeah, it's this right here. it's like the witch's dress is saying ooh woo. Kinda looks cute. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it should be. I do feel like this looks a little bit too much like just noise. Perhaps. Let's get it together and see how it looks. I mean, worst comes to worst, so just turn that off. It's the benefit of doing things on layers. If I just have it on on those two parts, and then maybe on the poofs as well. Because that way I get to have this like slender piece as well. Okay, let's see how that looks. Again, I think this might be too noisy. I don't think that actually comes across as leaves in the slightest. Use your Patreon pledge to request an hour of witch hissing ASMR. I am not recording an hour of audio. But okay, that looks good though. Like, maybe use the leafy texture as like a highlighter. That looks better. Fairly certain we're gonna end up with red shoes, but of course we are. Or we could make them look more like the way the changeling legs look. Because the changelings are meant to be in contact with creep pretty much their entire lives. So they have like tendrils of like vines and stuff curling up. And I think we started at rainbow. We're doing pretty nicely here. Have I ever spent a stream entirely texturing one creature? Wooden shoes with vine lacing like ballet flats. I mean, it's a single cube. I don't know if we can make ballet flats. Oh. Night bean. Yeah, look, that joins those together, quite nice. Yeah, I am liking the look of this. Okay. Just isolate the front, there we are. Let's borrow some texture. Okay, let's see how that looks. I'm not 100% certain what caused this to be the first thing that popped into my head when the texture reloaded. But the first thing that came to mind there was Tavern Girl. And I don't know exactly why that is. Maybe the Saloon Girl influence is coming off a bit strong. I think this is looking good though. Like, what do we think, everybody, so far? Yeah, Tavern Wench, that's the phrase. What about red instead of the green? We could certainly try that. Or maybe just go with blue to better, like, to match with the wings a bit more. I think blue might work better. Matching their face red. I mean, I don't know if their face will stay red because I am going to redo the face. Currently, it's just identical to their human disguise. Like I want it to look much more tidy and like made up. So, interesting thing. Fuzz has like a quirk, I guess you'd say, where they will always try to match their socks to their shirt. I don't know why, but they do. And this feels like matching your matching laces to the rest of your outfit or something. Like, could you imagine having to like relace your shoes? To match your outfit. Oh boy. Let's see what. Oh, night, Milo. I think maybe lift the texturing up a little, just like one step. Just give them boots. God, I've barely gotten to wear my nice boots all year, just because I haven't left the house. Yeah, you know, it looks a little better. Like, at the very least, both of these look dramatically like NPCs you'd find in like an adventure map, which is good. I have boots, not very high ones. I do have heeled boots, yes. Nothing stopping you from wearing nice boots in the comfort of your own home. I mean, a decent chunk of my home right now is a demolition site, so legally, I am not legally obligated to show you my shoe collection. No. I think barring tidying up the hair and the face, this is actually done. Huh. Well, we'll see what I think in like 10 minutes. Yeah.
who I say I am.
And welcome back, everybody, to the final hour of our stream tonight, where we are texturing up this lovely new disguise for the witch. And so far, I think it is coming along quite nicely. The face needs a lot of work. Story of my life, but still. And I think the major thing we need to do now is just add some little bits of jewelry, some bling, as the young'uns say, to really tie this whole thing together and make it look that extra bit rich. And as such, yeah, yes, Dusty. Oop. Okay, so this is on a different layer. Yes, I've clicked the right layer. Good. It's the last thing I need to do. There we are. So maybe splotch of gold there, really give the impression of rings. What was that about not being a simp, Dusty? So yeah, we're just adding some golden touches to this to try and make it a little bit fancier than it might otherwise. Let's have a look at that. Might need to lift the piece around the corset a little bit. Oh yeah, the corset piece is also way off target. I think the rings might be as well. I'm not sure. Yep. Rings are off target. Okay. How are they... I'm not terribly certain how they've managed to pull this off, but well, if we do that, let's just put them on the right section. Okay, so where does this go then? How many pixels deep is the corset? It is 3 pixels deep. Which means that should be the start of the main thing. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide. Fine by me. And it probably does want to be lifted up a section. Oh no, it's after 10 o'clock. The runner, it's found me. Alternatively, we could lift this up and have, like, it, dangled like towards the lower end. That does add quite a bit of glam to this, doesn't it? Ooh. Have your lovely jewellery spliced into your small intestine. It hasn't happened to me yet. I've been poked in awkward places by them. Yeah, I think that is a good start. Maybe have the dangle part on the back, maybe? I feel like we might want to avoid putting stuff there. Having that nice little gold piece at the front is nice, though. I do like that. Riveting. I mean, you've been here for nearly 3 hours, Dusty. More importantly, I've been here for nearly 3 hours. Okay, yeah, I think keep that there. And then for the something for the arms, the sleeves maybe. Tempted to say earrings, but there'd be literally 1 pixel of gold, which is not saying very much. Band of gold just beneath the poof? Yeah, I guess. I'm sure there's an actual, like, term for that if anybody wants to go and look it up. But yes, the poof, as we've been referring to here, we're referring to it. Let's see. Okay, right there, we should be able to see if that's aligned properly. And if we're lucky, I might actually have time to tidy up the hair. Okay, that works. That is the right position. It does kind of give me, like, Teller vibes. Even though they have, like, the clips, like on their sleeves a little bit. I don't know if that quite adds as much as we'd prefer. What I will do though is go here and add that and see if that lines up properly. Just slightly underside of that little decoration. Yes, it does. Good. Yeah, I think I prefer it without the gold bands underneath the poofs. Right, let's try and tidy up the face, shall we? Need some reference for this. Now, unfortunately, there was a very particular look with this. Which I don't know that I'm... Oi, so much of this is terrible. what do I expect out of Google image search anyways? What in the ever-loving... Okay, right, that makes more sense. I was about to say, dear God, that's a look, but no, it's like, oh, you actually intend... Right, I get you now. Okay, so it's bright red lips, essentially. Occasionally the beauty spot. Pale, but I don't think we'll do the pale. Mostly just looking for, like, ways to do the hair, I guess. Okay, yeah, here's a thing. Don't do this. don't, no. That is that is really cultural appropriation, Jesus. Like, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. It's bad. It's cultural appropriation from, like, a half dozen different cultures. So, rosy red lips was a thing, but I don't know that that looks quite right for our witch here, so we'll leave that. I do think we want to neaten up the hair quite a bit. Which we do predominantly by, bizarrely enough, adding more noise to it. Basically, we just essentially we use noise to reduce the overall contrast, which has the strange opposite effect than you would think of adding noise, which is it reduces the amount of messiness of their looks.
I am who I say I am.
Case in point, it now strangely looks tidier. Okay, how does the hair go with the ears? Does go pretty much the exact way we'd want them to. Good. Which means I don't need to change the shape. But I do want to have this side come lower, so I incorporate the bang into the actual texture as well. try very hard here not to accidentally Karen the the witch. Nope, wrong command. There we go. Interesting that we're ending up doing hair tonight on the basis that I have to go to bed pretty much immediately after this stream because I have a haircut appointment in the morning. Yeah, nothing seems dreadfully untoward about this particular individual. Yep. Have fun. I'm gonna be terrified the entire time. Like, it's a good salon, but I've been very heavily putting off getting a haircut, getting a trim because of, well, the world being on fire, essentially. Okay, we haven't tidied up the actual bang itself, but hopefully it works okay. Let's see. Yeah, I think that looks good. I think maybe added like at least a pixel up there, but yeah, good. Actually, no, I don't think we need to increase its height at all. Okay, I think obviously we are going to want to change up the ponytail at the back here. This is just the same texture for the ponytail as the human disguise. So I want to tidy that up and want to maybe get rid of the red flecks out of it. And may probably change the blue of that hairband to be more like the wings. Keeps them decently cohesive. I don't know how the... I think the red does work okay with this outfit. But if I change that to like blue, or if I change it to blue it'll match with the eyes too much. If I change it to green it'll look just tons of green. So, yeah, I think red works. I think red works. Sarah? Well, thank you. I grew it myself. In fact, I also grew it before I made the witch, so the fact that I ended up with a bang where the witch also has a bang is totally coincidental. Although I will point out my bang is on the left, witch's is on the right. Getting your hairstyle to be exactly like your son's? Ah, I see. I'll enjoy. Okay, and then we need a new ponytail element. Change that up, and okay, that should now be there. We do need to refresh the textures anyways, but yes. I think that's everything. Just refresh that, make sure it's good. We'll need to reboot this to make sure the layer updates, but I think that's this model done. So now that we've gotten that, we have a benchmark for what the changeling elf disguise looks like, which is the disguise that they use when they're not trying to impersonate like a cow or a sheep or something. The only time you actually see their real changeling appearance, essentially, is when you have very high reputation with them. Okay, yeah. Looks totally harmless, totally harmless. I like it. I think that's worked out very nice. I might I might change these up slightly so that the wings are actually like fully together. So unless they're moving, you can't really tell that they separate at all. Okay, let's. What is that? I have no idea whomst that emote is from, Dusty, but wow. What direction is that? 180. There we go. To archfey. Errot? Imagine tugging on the witch's wings and this guy is genuinely thinking it's a cape. I don't know if you'd die instantly, but you'd certainly experience a lot of suffering. Honestly, which one of these looks more like royalty? I'm not sure. Yeah, that looks really nice, I think. Which looks like a lesbian. That's rude. Should never judge somebody's sexuality by their appearance. I think I can vaguely see what you mean, but still rude. A cottagecore, I guess, yeah. Now there is another detail that we want to add, which is the glowing eyes, which we might be able to do just by cloning the texture for the actual witch over here. Witch crone glow, witch glow right over there. And that will be basically the last thing here. Yep, that's in the correct place. There we go. Okay, so let's reboot that. That should put that in. The Trail of Greenery. That we can mostly do by borrowing code from the actual creep. Because we have a particle that generates those leaves. Don't know if I can do that in 20 minutes, but I can try. And we don't really see it too much unless the witch is moving around, but it's probably. Let's just see how this looks first. Oh, it went wrong. It went wrong is how, here's what happened. Okay. Oh, no, I know what's happened. Okay. What's displaying there is a missing texture bug. Because I didn't refresh the assets. It's witch, but when they go doki doki. Okay, so there we go. We can see their eyes are now glowing in the dark. Not quite as brightly as the Kieran's horns, but the Kieran's horns are canonically made of lightning. This is one of the few occasions, by the by, where you get to see both of the witch's eyes, clearly. Like, straight on, we can actually see the other eye. On most occasions, their other eye is obscured. Okay, so last thing is adding particles to them. Which is difficult mostly because to generate particles we need to have a value inside of them that tells the player, the entity to render particles, but if we need to reference a renderer which doesn't exist on the server side. Might have to tinker with that one. But for now, let's just set them back on random. All of this in one creature. That meant four different things. That's why I think they look gay, it's the hair. I feel called out, I guess. Does the witch is gay? A solid question. And the witch is just mostly as bewildering as I am for the most part. Yeah, see? From head on, can barely make that out. But if I turn around for a moment and look back, the witch will have donned a different disguise. Which, now, my luck, is the one we've been working on all night. Oh, no, it's much worse. This is the Changeling Queen disguise. Which, debatable if this counts as a disguise, really. Wow. I mean, same, but still. Yeah, this is mostly the same as the actual Changeling model, but it's scaled up slightly. It's got these little hands and the mantle at the back, plus the big long tail. Like I can. There we go, for comparison. So yeah, it's mostly just this model, but with a couple of extra additions. But if I turn around again, wait a while, they'll most commonly turn back to their human disguise, but they will turn to other things. The witch, by the way, as well as the Kirin, is a warlock patron. So if you go up to them, they will give you an item. If you use that item, you can start a pact, and that pact will give you various benefits. And at the end of it, it issues what's called an end game, which in the case of the witch is changelings start appearing in the overworld. Here we have the crone disguise, which is a little hunched forwards. And if you know, like, if you know your magic in this game, there's a very particular meaning to this exact symbol. What is it? Yeah, here we are. Here's all of the sigils. This relates to different magical properties. And let's see, there is motion, path, light, harm, force, all manner of things. But the specific one that's on the crone disguise's back is trickery. It's the symbol of trickery. So if you see that symbol on a creature, be prepared to, like, get conned, essentially. But yeah, this is witch fresh out the well aesthetic kind of thing. Right here. So let's see, we've seen human, we've worked on elf all night, we've seen changeling queen, we've seen crone. That's all of them. They only, I don't know, actually there is one more. I don't know if we'll see it. We can try, but let's find out. Oh yeah, one of my favorite little details is the item that the witch gives you is a deviled egg. Oh, you went back to that, huh? You join a world, you immediately join the witch cult. I mean, feel free. The Kirin's endgame is if you break a if you break a log in a forest biome. That's the only way I can detect tree breaks, just by the way. There is a decent chance that a lightling will spawn and start hurting you. There are other endgames. Okay, well, there's a start. Show us the beans. We've got ears. It's like these two NPCs are incredibly self-indulgent. I will say that straight up, because they are directly drawn from my career and my lore and such. But I think they're nice. They're not specific to any like Minecraft stuff for the most part. They're not specific to any like D&D specific campaign. There's some nice patrons to just drop where you need them. Oh, there's the elf disguise. Which yeah, needs particles, I think, but I'll need to figure out how to do that exactly. It's your mod, you can do what you want. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But it's like, there are some exceedingly generic patrons for warlocks that are just detailed in like the source books. So, there's like 3 of them, I think. There's the archfey, there's the devil, or something to that effect, the archdemon or something, I don't know. And then there's the great old one. Those are the 3. Those are the only details you have of them. They're extremely vague. So for this, we wanted to actually have some fleshed out characters. So here we have 2 different archfey. But yeah, the witch is the witch rendering is specifically programmed that when they are not being rendered, they're ticking a timer, and when you look back and start rendering them again, they check to see how long that's been, and if it's been long enough, they randomly select a different appearance. So they specifically change disguises when you're looking away. And it's client-side as well, so every player is seeing something different. So one player might see the fox disguise, another player might see the changeling queen disguise, and have very different reactions. Whereas the Kirin is... the Kirin's just always the Kirin. What would happen if you touched the ears? Would you die a painful death, or would they swallow? I mean, bear in mind, the witch isn't actually much down for killing. The witch will certainly murder people, if necessary, but the witch prefers to torture. So... you would wish for death, might be the more specific thing. Exactly, Bridge. Yeah. It's like one person sees the fox, another person sees like a horrifying monster, another person sees someone like straight out of like what is it? It's Sword Art Online Season 2. It's like, if I had to pick an anime character, I realize I've drawn Leafa from Sword Art Online 2. But still. Like, hang on, let me... I don't know how many of you will understand the reference I'm making, because you might have taste. I don't know. Is it Leafa that I'm thinking of? Yeah, there you are. There we go. Welp. I mean, with how much anime I'm aware of, that was probably inevitable, but still. Alright, you guys can't see that at all, because I've got that setting on. Okay. Yeah. Blip. Like, it's not exact, but that is generically what we've done tonight. TFW, you accidentally make a Sword Art Online character. That's Leafa from Sword Art Online Season 2. Which I think I watched, but... Ah, perfect. Yeah, it's a bad Leafa cosplay. Right down to wings. Gonna make Sasuke next. Would Sasuke be one of the, like, the devil slash demon patrons? Would Orochimaru be one of the overworld ones? Anyways, that is about all I have time for today, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you all for coming. And, yeah, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed, like, real quick here, so I can actually get up in time to go grab my haircut, because it's a morning appointment, and I have barely woken up in the morning this year. So, yeah, I mean, extenuating circumstances, I'm sure. But, yeah, so, my next stream is on Thursday. We'll play some more Monster Hunter World. Then on Friday, we continue on with Dead Space at 9 as well. And at 9 on Saturday, we have some random games talking with the patrons on the carousel. Meanwhile, I do make videos at redo.com/comic. It's a bit quieter this week because it's hard to record when there's the sounds of construction most of your working hours. But there are videos there nonetheless. And everything I do is powered by you at Patreon at patreon.com/lying. So, with that, hope you've all enjoyed. I'll catch you all ever.